Bezat Hashem, we're back at the limud of Sefer Yirat HaShem. Today is the 3rd of the month of Mar Cheshvan, the Hilulah shel Rabbeinu HaKadosh, Rabbeinu Avadia Yosef Zecher Tzadik Kadosh B'Bracha. שזכותו יגן עלינו ויהיה מליץ טוב ויושר לעמו ישראל. For his family, everybody, especially now, Rab David is also in a big tough key. HaKadosh Baruch Hu should be matzliach darko. And the Rabbi should not abandon none of us. So we continue today with Hashem. לידה קלתו, אשתו של שרון, יצחקוב, לידה קלה לכל עם ישראל, נהריות קלות, הכל יהיה טוב. גם לרבי, אשתו של רבי, לא?
גם אשתו של רבי.
בעזרת השם.
פלונית בת פלונית.
גם כן לעילוי נשמת מרקל בן מיכאל, וגם שירלי בת, לא שירלי, שלי בת אסתר, ברוך השם. רק עלייה נשמה וגם בעזרת השם רפואה שלמה לכל חולי עמו ישראל. נו, דווי. So we continue here. What?
Was yesterday or
Today,
today?
the third of Mar Cheshvan. It's usually one day before my birthday, so that's how I remember it. Anyway, okay, so now Hagar was commended by the Malach, the angel, that because she had Tzarat Ain, because she was not observing and was not judging favorably Sarai Imenu, because of her diminishing the honor in her own eyes of Sarah. Now the Malach, the angel, tells Hagar, go with it ani tachat gibirtech. Go and make yourself suffer under the hands of Sarah. And because you're going to make yourself suffer under the hands of Sarah, that will be the kapara shel chashadat b'Sarah she'en tocha kebora. Because you said Sarah, her outer is the fake and the inner is the real. Meaning Hagar misjudged Sarah and said why she doesn't have a baby. Mistama because she's a faker. So because of that, the angel tells Hagar, go make sure you suffer for that. And that, and the rule is anyone who suspects another Jew, I'm talking to myself, if you suspect another Jew improperly, the punishment, if you don't do tshuva, the punishment of suspecting a Jew is physical hurt. You have to get physical pain. If you do tshuva, that's great. If not, not. And what's the tshuva? How can you do the tshuva of suspecting a Jew improperly, on suspicion of his misbehavior? In reality, it's not true. We say we're supposed to give him a blessing, right? My daughter, I thought she was using. I told him to use a cold grape juice for Abdallah this past Shabbat. So my daughter, I thought she was using the regular one, the warm one. So I said, what is my daughter using? You suspecting me, give me blessing right away. She should give you have to give blessing right away, and this way it will offset the fact that you misjudge the person. So here the angel is telling Hagar, you don't have to get physical lashes for this punishment, for the sin, but if you subdue yourself and allow yourself to be oppressed by Sarah now, because Sarah is not oppressing her for her benefit. Remember, we already said that a person who is talking to strangers, let's say you see a person who's doing something wrong, you're not allowed to tell him what you're doing, or come to him with the silk gloves and say nicely, gently, and privately. This is all false Torah. There is no such a Torah. I know for the past 30 years we've been grilled by certain foundations that it's a good thing to go to a person and quietly and tsanua and privately with the silk gloves tell him what he's doing is wrong. It's wrong. It's not real Torah. The Torah obligates us to give musar on one condition. The condition is that the person you're giving musar has to know you love him. And if you don't love him, it's an aveira, says Chafetz Chaim. I don't know where this foundation came up with new books and new Torah, that if you come to a Jew and you're going to tell him nicely, gently, privately, not embarrass him to do tshuva, he'll do tshuva. It's a wrong Torah. It's not Chafetz Chaim. For sure it's not Chafetz Chaim, even though they claim it under his name. The Heritage Foundation of Chafetz Chaim is claiming that's what Chafetz Chaim meant. Chas v'shalom. The Chafetz Chaim has a whole people, how you're supposed to approach people. Only works when you love him, when he knows you love him. Not when you say, "Hareini ohevet kol echad ve'echad b'nei Israel." You're a faker. You're a bunch of baloney. You love Jews? Please, come on. Do me a favor. A Jew is crying in front of you, almana. She can't feed her children. She needs $25,000. And you have the last of your pennies, $25,000. You're going to give her? For sure not. So what are we talking about? We'll give her $500. We'll give her $5. Go find somebody else's money. So really, we don't love Jews. Yet we go around and giving musar to everybody. Who do you think you are? So Sarah Imenu, with her love, she got a servant. You think the Torah, how does Torah address a servant? Your servant is your master, the Torah says. If you have a pillow, one pillow you must give to your servant. You can't sleep on the pillow if you're a master and you have a servant. So for sure, Sarah Imenu was not torturing Hagar. That's not what it means here. As we know, where's the approach of Hagar, of Sarah was that Sarah, Hagar is her Talmida, is her teacher. The Torah tells us when you are a teacher, when you are a Rebbe, what is the best way today to buy a student? How do you own a student? By showing him love. That's the only way. Any Rebbe in a school that he thinks he's a wise guy is going to be, I demand respect, Habibi. Respect is earned, and you must give love to the child in order for it to work. So Hagar knew that Sarah loves her. So the Malach tells her, go and let Hagar oppress you. Why does Hagar have to oppress her? Simply going because Hagar lived there for 11 years, and she still didn't understand that you cannot misjudge people. And therefore, the Malach tells so Sarah, as a teacher now, you're not allowed to beat around the bush. A Rebbe or a Mora cannot beat around the bush. You must be straight to your children, the Gemara says. When you're teaching somebody, you must tell them musar straight, not beat around the bush. Now, if you're not a teacher of somebody, I take a look the way I learned from my rabbis. My rabbis would not say a word to anybody on the street. If the guy is doing the most evil thing in the world, would not say a word. He's not his student. What is going to approach him? I don't know what, where, and how. So that's the way I learned. I don't approach anybody. If you want to say something to somebody, even then, my Rosh Yeshivas were very mahmir to look at somebody else. My Rosh Yeshiva, Rav Shiyeh Bari V'Shalem, Rav Bonariel, Rav Chaim Bonariel, Mikdash Melech, he used to give musar, and he knows the boys are, not so meticulous about certain mitzvah. The whole shir he would look on the door on the right side. A whole shir he would look there like a stuck like a frozen robot. He would not look at the boys' faces. He would be so careful and to say words. Obviously, we know he's talking to us, but he would not tell it to their faces ever. I never saw Rav Chaim Ben Uriel tell somebody anything to the face. Ever. It was out of this world. When he has to say musar, he say the straight, not beat around the bush. You must say the musar so the person understands what you want. So Sarah Imenu is telling Hagar exactly what she wants her to do. וכשראה המלאך שהיא נכנעה ורוצה לחזור להתעבד לשרה, so then Malach saw that Hagar really did tshuva. Remember, she's a holy person. She understands what HaShem and she sees angels. So Malach understood that she wants to do tshuva. Amar, he told her, בגלל שנכנית ורואה בעין טובה את שרה גברתך, now that you broke your holiness and you see Sarah with a good eye, לכן ומעתה שזה, לכן בזכות זה, הרבה את זרח ולא ישלוט בו עין הרע כמקודם. And now we see the understanding of the Malach's blessing to Hagar. He's telling her, you're going to have a child. You're going to have a child who's going to be blessed and who's going to be protected from Ayn Hara. And look at that, Bli Ayn Hara, right? We have our cousins, our Arabs. Let's take the bad segment away, those crazy people that want to hurt people. But look at that, you have billions and billions of other goyim, of the Arabs, that there's benefit, there has to be some benefit. HaShem is not going to let them go be for nothing. There's no such billion, over billions of them. And HaShem, there's ashpa'ah. I spoke to my Chavrut, to Markia upstairs. He says he has a big wall in his house. Alevai, we had a Muslim guy, a painter. In my house, I remember when I was growing up, I lived in Tashkent, Uzbekistan. In my house, I don't know how my mother could afford it. Probably it was not costing a lot of money. We had a paint, every wall had an original painting on it. Hand painting by a Muslim. Look at the mosaic of the Muslims, what the koach they have, the tiles and the painting and the intricacy, out of this world. So you want to tell me they don't have a bracha? Of course they have a bracha and they have a purpose to beautify this world with their hands. And with this we're going to end. There was a story, unfortunately, almost 30 years ago, I remember. Breaking news. What's the breaking news? One rabbi imported many Sifrei Torah to America. He was a rabbi, so-called rabbi, with a beard. All you have to do apparently today is grow a beard, you're a rabbi already. So he brought in Sifrei Torah, like 30 pieces or 50 pieces. And he was selling them for cheap. So they did an investigation. Selling Sifrei Torah for cheap. Why? They did an investigation. They discovered he had 8 Arab girls writing for him Sifrei Torah. And all of those 50 Sifrei Torah was written 1 year, B'chlal. This guy was selling Sifrei Torah by Arab women. You know what their drawings are? They know how to sculpt with their hands out of this world. You could just look at it, get so excited, so elevated. Why? Because Hashem gave him that chen. And this is the bracha of Hagar. Hagar, because she accepted Sarah to go as Sarah to oppress her a little bit, to the tshuva, and now properly view other people. B'siyata d'shmaya, she had this elevation and bracha coming from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Well, alevai aleinu, Hashem should give us brachot without any suffering. Have a wonderful day. Who needs to make parnasa? Lechot et parnasu. 8:45, B'ezat Hashem, we'll get on the phone. We're going to do halachot Shabbat in English, B'ezat Hashem. A half hour.